to them and trapped in a room. The group entered and were ambushed by them, realizing that this was a trap. This fight was quite a lengthy one and did not go precisely the way the group had hoped. The fight started fairly well until Darmel was unfortunately killed in battle by Lillian. Poem retaliated on this by bashing her head in. Then they beat Ferrethal within an inch of his life and took him back to the keep as a prisoner. Darmel was taken to, I believe, a temple in the temple district in Amman. I don't remember which one currently. It's in my notes that I forgot to write down. And he was laid to rest there for the time being until they could afford to bring him back or until one of their party members could. So they continued on, meeting outside of this temple a young girl whose name I will mention in next week's video because it's not her time in the sun yet. She offered her assistance. They said no. She sent her blink dog after them to help the best they could, and they went back to interrogate Ferrethal. Ferrethal was, of course, not of much use to them, being much under the impression that if he told information, he would be killed. So, knowing that even if he didn't tell information, he probably would be killed as well. This insinuation was correct, of course. He was killed, though not by a current member of the party, but by the blink dog that the young girl sent after them. Blink dog, I believe, bit him or attacked him, and it hit him down underneath a specific hit point range, and he went unconscious. I'm unsure that they killed him then and there. I think that he was left unconscious to make saving throws for a short period of time, and then they eventually brought him back to interrogate him and then kill him again. They didn't receive much information from him. They found a little bit of information regarding May and how she was taken and the circumstances of her kidnapping, being that she was on a diplomatic mission sent by her father, the king of the Frigid Depths, to create a peace treaty of sorts with an unknown city, and was captured along her travels, known by Raven and Storm to be of interest to some degree. So her kidnapping was mostly right place, right time, and then she was taken to Singorn, tortured for information that she did not have, and then let go in the fleeing of Singorn by the villains of the group. So once they had settled back in Amman after this, there was a lot of talking that happened, a lot of working things out, and May and Poem became quite good friends. Poem treating her to pastries quite often that he found that she loved, and just talking to her. She and Michael taught Poem cure wounds, as Poem is a specialized monk class that is homebrew, which is a combination of Chris, the individual who plays Poem, being a genius, and me tweaking things as we go. So he learned that spell over the course of having May in the group and finished just before she is returned home eventually. Another plot point that came up during all of this was that her necklace was breaking, and the enchantment on it was going to break along with it. I believe I mentioned it briefly in the last episode, but the necklace that she wears is one that allows her to take on a human visage and form, so that way she can walk on land with no issues. Michael is different in that he is half Triton, so he can switch between human form and Triton form depending on if he's in the water or on land. It's sort of like Emily Winsnap, which is a very specific book to reference in this case, but it's like Emily Winsnap, in which case she needs to be in the water for an extended period of time in order to become a mermaid. That's sort of the rules that Michael follows. May, on the other hand, if the necklace breaks, she immediately reverts, and it can hurt her severely if it reverts before she's back in the water, given that she is mostly a water-based individual. I have also adjusted Tritons so they are mermaids, not the Tritons in Dungeons & Dragons, where they have legs and fins and things of that nature, and more flipper-like appendages. So their next mission was to either repair this necklace or return her home. They tried a couple times to repair the necklace with no avail, not being able to find someone who could repair the enchantment or the necklace itself. So they eventually decided that if they were going to be heading back north towards Whitestone, which I believe they'd spoken of, then they would bring her home quickly beforehand. So moving into that, the group with their newly added individual, who will have her video next week, they went to Whitestone to speak with Percy, finding out along the way that there was a plot to attack the clock tower in Whitestone that Percival had spent the last 10 years or so creating in memoriam of his friends and their battles against the Chroma Conclave, which is actually canon for Critical Role, but I don't know the actual reason for his building it, so that is why in my campaign he has built it. So they bring her there, they warn Percy and say that they'll be back in order to help fend off this attack. And that Percy said he would call in some assistance from a familiar face to anybody who has seen, I guess, both Critical Role campaigns at this point. But yes, that is about where I'm going to cut it for the story for this time. I did want to talk about the art just a little bit more, and the visual appearance of May in this portrait. So like I said, this is watercolor and colored pencil, which I've found is one of my favorite ways to render artwork lately. And May is shown here with blonde hair, green eyes, sort of pale-ish skin. It's not quite the color I wanted it to be, but it works to a degree. And a pink fluffy sleeved dress, as well as the necklace that keeps her in her human form. The only thing that's not shown in this video, because I did it afterwards as a, oh crap, I forgot this, are some green freckles similar to the ones that Michael displays in their portrait. So May has a little bit of green in her hair to kind of hint towards the fact that she's not entirely human, or what she seems. The pink dress was a gift from Michael and Poem that they purchased on their way back in Iman, so that way she had something nicer to wear instead of the kind of scraps of clothing she was wearing when they found her after she was kidnapped. Something that is interesting that was played up a lot in the campaign is that she loves bear claws and pastries of all varieties and just inhales them. So something I wish I could have included here, but maybe eventually I'll do some scenes, drawing of scenes from the campaign that I can share with you, or I'll put up somewhere. But it was very amusing to have this character that I created take on a life of her own and just kind of be like, yes, pastries, all of them, and just very fancy dresses and neat things, and she's just a fun character. She is a druid, a very strong one as well for someone of her age, she being 16, approximately, though acting younger due to age differences with Tritons. So she kind of is like a young princessy kind of kid to a degree. I don't know that I have much else to talk about, so I will just let you know what the plans are for the next couple of videos. I will be doing a video on the newest member of the party, whose name I will reveal in that episode. And then after that, there is another new member of the party I will be introducing. Some of the players have changed out characters recently, although recently just being within the last year. The individual who played Darmel, Colt, he changed out his character for the one that I will be introducing you to in the next one. And then Kelsey, who played Michael, changed out her character as well at the end of what we're calling Season 2, which is just the second major plot event which is the attack on the clock tower. So after those events, I sort of just was like, okay, this season 2. So I'm very excited to introduce you to those characters. I hope you enjoy the tape peeling, and I hope you enjoyed the artwork. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, everyone.